Welcome to the Views from the Bridge, your second favorite podcast about they actually did win Philadelphia Union. It should not have been that close. But before we get there, Evan, Chuck, how you guys doing tonight?
It's been a day, as I put in our chat. I bought chicken today because to make with my dinner, so I didn't have to defrost anything, and it was spoiled. So that just ruined my dinner as this game is happening and devolving. So it's been a fun past hour-ish.
Killed the vibes.
Justin, the Flyers beat the Kraken midweek. They beat the Islanders yesterday. That was cool. I went and saw the second team beat Huntsville City, who played some of the most one note, not the Union, but the Huntsville played some of the most one note. We have one idea, and if it doesn't work, we're gonna lose. They lost. Also, we have a lot of really just tall kids on their second team, like staggeringly tall children, which I think just makes us better at that level of soccer than most other teams. So, I was at Subaru Park yesterday. I was like, oh, where are they going to put the supporter shield, 2025 thing? I figured it out. They just off-centered 2020. That whole thing settled in. I thought we played a garbage first half of soccer. Thought we played a great 10 minutes of soccer, and then we played a garbage 3 minutes of soccer, and now we get to talk about a fucking penalty shootout.
So, yeah, my weekend was good. I had a good weekend, and then this game happened, and
yeah,
I don't even know where to go from here. But to catch everybody up, I think everybody knows where we are. But to catch everybody up, the Union clinched the supporter shield with a week, 2 weeks, whatever it was left to go in the season. Went and played Charlotte in Charlotte the last week of the season and laid a, I don't know, complete stinker of a game and lost 2-0.
Not as bad as Vancouver. Still
not as bad as Vancouver.
Vancouver.
And ultimately it didn't really matter because we had already clinched what we needed to clinch. And that set up this game against Chicago, a game in which Chicago used to be one of my teams that was fun to play against. It very quickly tonight became a team that was not. And after a feisty first half and then, whatever, the Union looked to be unioning and scored 2 goals. Vasilev and Iloski with the goals to get the Union up 2-0. Weird goal from Jonathan Bamba that just happened to end up in the back of the net. Not really anybody's fault. Can't really blame anybody on that one. And then Jack Elliott decides to almost destroy the Union season with a late winner. And then there was a little bit of fight, some more feistiness, and then we went to a penalty shootout where then Jack Elliott decided to help us out by not converting on his penalty kick, and the Union win the shootout 4-2 and go to Chicago next week up 1-0 in the series. What do we want to talk about from tonight's games, fellas?
Yeah, I was going to say, what do we...
Well, I guess to start, I do think at some point when we were talking about potential teams to play in the playoffs, I did mention not wanting to play Chicago, especially because of the fact that they are better on the road than they are at home. They weren't, very good for most of this game, but this is kind of the problem when you're playing a team that just has nothing to lose.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because all of the pressure was on the Union, and it showed when everything fell apart after the 75th minute. But luckily, I almost don't want to say this, but are the Union good at penalty shootouts now?
Yes. Yeah. No, they have been actually since Next Pro went to shootouts every week. We talked about this. Since Next Pro went to shootouts every week, you now have so many more of your 25 and unders or kids that have come up through at least the academy systems in the league, not just Philly, that are weirdly good at taking penalty shootouts, which is crazy, Chuck, because it won't matter for any of the U.S. men's national team kids.
It did matter for Matt Freese.
It's fair. Yeah, no, I agree. I think, I don't know, I guess, all right, so I had questions, but they were about Chicago's lineup, so I didn't care enough to Google them during the game because it doesn't matter. But Zickernagel being out was weird. I think that was like a late scratch. I know they mentioned that a couple times in the broadcast. That just kind of like didn't happen in the warm up, and so they pulled him. Brian Gutierrez off the bench was like a really bizarre choice. It worked out, but this was not like the first 11 Chicago Fire, which I felt was kind of strange. And also, they didn't really look like they wanted to win until they got a goal back, and Andre Blake became incensed somehow, which I think it's weird we never saw a replay of that goal, which makes me think there might have been something in there, but it didn't go to review. And it was just that weird thing where it's okay, like, this is not a best of 3 series or a home and home series where goal differential matters. You just have to win. So when they score in the 84th minute, I don't really care. But then you do the thing where you shell really hard and you basically give up on trying to play the ball, give up a second really fluky goal after, again, what might be one of the worst free kicks I've ever seen in my life, to, of all people, Jack Elliott. Then the first penalty kick, I get flashbacks because Michael Ura hits a terrible penalty. And I'm like, great, way to give a win to Chris Brady of all people. And then I don't really breathe until, I mean, Elliott misses, which helps, and then your man hits the crossbar, and that's it. But just a really weird game.
I mean, it was a true, like, 20-ish minutes of just holding your breath there.
After a first half where if I'm any of the actual strikers on the Union coming up before this second game against Chicago, I'm not talking to anybody. I'm just practicing. Because they were absent.
You started that whole rant with starting with Chicago's lineup. How do you feel about Nate Harriel at right back?
I think he played himself out of that job.
I thought we had a settled back line. Like, there really shouldn't have been any questions going in as to who was starting, especially when you should be on the front foot at home. And like, Harriel at right back does not say on the front foot at home.
Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, and then Westfield comes in and hits a peach of a PK to put us up, get us back on top of the penalty shootout.
Well, and even during the game, I thought Frankie looked better than
even during the game.
Yeah, because he had a chance to actually like avoid PKs in stoppage time.
Yes, I was going to come back to that, but it's one of those things that I think, for me, I look at, okay, who can take the pressure? And you're talking about a guy who just beat a lot of good teams at the whatever tournament he just played in. And then you talk about the other guy who didn't beat a lot of teams that they probably should have beat. Like, I don't know. I'm a Westfield fan at this point. So I think you do, like, there should not be Harriel should not start it right back next week.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird because, I mean, that's probably the only lineup change you make next week.
For sure.
You can bench Damiani, but like, you're probably still not going to do that.
I had that thought. I was thinking about, because this is like the only other thing that we're really taking away from this game long term, right? Because you win, so that doesn't.
Yeah.
In a weird way, everything else doesn't really matter. I really like Damiani as a battering ram and as a physical presence. I think I like him even more when you can get Chicago a little bit wound up and bring him in the second half. Because I didn't look it up, but the other thing that I thought about is, if we become a team where we don't care about yellow cards, if accumulation isn't altered for the playoffs, which it could be, I don't know. Thank you, Chuck. Like, if we just play a game where you're not getting the ball through the middle and we don't care if we have to just batter you to do it, there's something there. And I think especially with a team like Chicago, where they have 4 guys that can really play, and that's about it, getting them really frustrated is a good thing to do. And we saw it with the red card late in the game.
And so 3 yellow cards in the playoffs.
It's a suspension.
Does lead to a suspension.
And does it say when it resets?
Reset
Thank you.
At the conference finals.
So it really doesn't matter.
It shouldn't.
Yeah. No, and this is going to sound bad, and I don't mean this in like a injure somebody way. I want like 5 people to pick up a yellow card in Chicago.
No, I mean, you want to kick
Like, I want to
Chicago.
bully
Like,
this
they're
team into submission.
probably one of their biggest weaknesses outside of like their actual defense is that they're reactive.
Right. And we saw that.
Yeah, I see your point, Evan, and I think it really depends on the team that's on the other side of the field as
Of
to what
course.
you do with Damiani and Ure, because I understand kind of what they did tonight is like they left Damiani in the field. We got up 2-0. They put Ure in the game and said, "Go stretch this game and get those cleared balls. Go chase them down." But he just never got the chance, and then all of a sudden we were tied at 2. And so I
Right.
think I
And then he
understand what
misses
Cornell was
penalty.
trying to do with them. Yeah, I understand what he was trying to do with that, but I could agree with you where it's like, all right, let Ure run them ragged in the first half, and then stick Damiani on the field in the second half and be like, yeah, try to stop that guy now.
Because Damiani does everything, and like he plays and he comes from a physical league. Like, he throws elbows all the time. And it's like, if you do, he did it for 90 minutes, or, well, 60, or whatever he played. And it worked. Like, we eventually got a red card to Chicago off of that. And it's like, yeah, as long as you're not catching guys high or, like, really leaving your foot in, I really don't care. Because I'm tired of this team doing the right thing, going up 2-0, and then just letting teams come back. Like, kill the game.
My favorite thing about that is every time Damiani gets a foul called like on him, then he looks at the ref like, what did I do?
Absolutely.
Like,
no.
well,
Oh, yeah.
You were like throwing elbows, so.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't do anything. Well,
like, man. Yeah, one of the dumbest red cards I think I've ever seen, and I was there live for Caleb
sure.
Calvert's re-entry double yellow. So,
oh my god, pull.
That might be the best thing I ever see in my entire life. Truly, is a guy getting sent off for re-entering the field incorrectly. But that one is also pretty inexcusable. Middle of the field challenge. It's a shame it didn't matter, really. Because Chicago probably did what they sort of wanted to do in a backwards way, which is get this to penalties, and then if you steal a win, great. Yeah, really weird, because I think we were all coming in here being like, well, that 45 minutes sucked. And then it was, oh, okay, no, we kind of comfortably won in the second half. And then it was, oh, nope, all right.
Yeah, I mean, you do kind of want to know what Bradley Carnell's going to do to avoid that happening again. Because this was supposed to be like, okay, no one really cares how the first half went, just because like the Union are still the better team and are eventually going to get a goal. And not only did they get a goal, they got 2. And they've had the best defense in the entire league this season. So like, game's done. And then it wasn't. And like, when you're facing teams that are better than the Chicago Fire, that's a loss.
Is that, Chuck, as I'm like thinking about that on the spot, do you not put Kevin Sullivan on at that point? Like, is Alejandro Bedoya your better choice?
I don't actually know why he subbed Kevin in. Because
like, if you're down 2-0, I totally understand putting Sullivan on the field.
Yeah, but I mean, in that actual moment,
I want Bedoya on the field who can shuttle and control and get guys wound up and
it's not even like Kevin was the problem, because he wasn't.
No.
But yeah, like these, like literally that situation is allegedly why Bedoya is on this team.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just don't. I think I pair that with taking Lukic off the field. Not that Bueno is bad, and I'm not blaming this on Bueno at all either. But I think
wasn't Lukic on the yellow at that point?
Yeah. I mean, part of it
is
you got to
because that one, like, if you leave Lukic on the field in that game, he's getting sent off, and you don't want that.
Lukic, I get that sub. I'm not saying that he should have left Lukic on the field. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you take Lukic off the field and you kind of lose your defensive cover, because I would say Danley is more of a box-to-box midfielder, is going to get up the field a little bit more, all that kind of stuff. So you kind of lose your defensive cover. You put Bueno on to do that, but I also think you need to kind of shore up the midfield a little bit. in the same way that Vasilev sort of shores up the midfield and controls the ball and creates possession and all that kind of stuff. And that's where I'd rather see Bedoya on the field, shift Iloski over to the left-hand side and put Bedoya back on his right-hand side of the field.
Yeah,
And
I mean, you could
kill
have
the
even
game off.
you could have even justified like Chris Donovan coming in to just
No,
run
no,
at their
no, no,
defense
no,
and press.
no, no, no.
Evan, look at the bench for the Union for this game.
No, I'm good.
They were not flush on options on who was going to come in.
No, that's well, no, what I'm hand gesturing for. Indiana Vasilev can play anywhere on the field, I'm led to believe, in some way, shape, or form. Not like well, but he's a 5-tool guy. Do you take off Iloski, you bring on you take off Lukic, you bring on Bueno, and then you can kind of like drop into a more kind of holding midfield role. And then if you want to bring Cavan in so bad, take off like a Baribo, maybe, if you're up like 2 goals, and you just put Ura up top and just kind of have a cluster F of midfielders around him. I don't know. It was the first time I kind of like went, and again, it's not Cavan's fault. Like he played a fine to good game, and I think maybe the justification is that you're gonna get some breaks with just the way that the game's gonna open up, with Chicago really trying to find one, which is all well and good in the regular season, but this is not that. This is, we need 3 points, or we need to hold a lead. So if you're that desperate to bring the kid on instead of Bedoya, which, okay, sure, I think your points are both valid, where it's like, this is what he's here for. But instead of bringing off one of your midfielders or trying to get more positive in that position, why not just really pack the center of the field and leave one dude up top way by himself and just say, Ty, if there's a ball coming close to you, go try to get it. And then try to win those second balls more. Because that felt like we weren't really winning second balls as much as we normally do either. And when your offense sort of hinges around transition and breaking, that's not very good.
Well, and when you think about the goals, what were they? They were both second balls
right.
that we didn't win.
Yeah,
and like, it's not that and nobody even from the wall like made a push on Jack to like put some pressure on that shot at all. And then somehow, there's part of it is somehow it finds its way through 40 people in the box,
right,
to get past Blake into the corner. But I think, and so that's where I want to go back and be clear. Listen, I'm not blaming that substitution on the reason this game ended up being a tie game, because essentially both goals came off set pieces and second balls that got put back in and ended up in the net. So I think I'm not blaming Cavan's play on. That's why we didn't win the game. All right, that's why we didn't win the game in regulation.
This is where the great term was a multitude of factors that led to
a series of breakdowns.
Yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, but jokes on all of us. Indiana Vasilev gets your first playoff goal of the year for the Philadelphia Union. Go crawl in a hole and die, all of our friends in St. Louis. What a weird week for them. They're not even around anymore. They're still getting owned by Bradley Carnell. And then, Iloski showing his worth. Chuck with a great text going, well, Ernst finally signs guys from MLS and it's working. Because there you go. It's 2 MLS guys. And Bueno, in his 5th year, ices the penalty shootout for us. So, yeah, it's nice to see. Can't wait to do it again on Thursday. Weird scheduling note. I think it's hilarious. The Chicago Fire will not play any of their home games in what they want to be their home stadium of Soldier Field.
Wait, where are they playing?
StubHub and Bridgeview. Yeah. So, like, not a home game midweek there. Really? I can't imagine.
Although, like, I feel like a midweek game at Soldier Field would also just be weird because no one's
for sure.
The game is Saturday. It's not a midweek game. The game is Saturday.
Am I losing my mind?
Yeah, these 3-week series are
Well, no.
Oh my
weekly
God, it is.
series.
They even talk about it. It's
I
the
mean,
day after Halloween.
Yeah,
Good Lord. Okay.
Well, this playoff schedule is also just like nuts
Ugh.
because also like teams shouldn't get a week off between games. Like
No.
it should be 3 days,
Yes.
Kinda.
but it's not.
Okay, well, then.
Although it's actually in this scenario, it's in the union's benefit that it's not 3 days because they have no depth right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, to your point, Evan, about that team in St. Louis, I'd say the other go die in a hole or whatever however you phrase that. There's a team headed to TQL Stadium in Cincinnati tomorrow night to play their first round game. They was supposed to be really, really good this season, and they were supposed to be even better because we gave them a 10 who was supposed to light their offense on fire.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
guess who scored our second goal to get us up 2-0 in this game? Oh yeah, that was Iloski, not Gazdag.
Which also thanks
Sorry,
to the team
Columbus.
that'll be kicking off later tonight in San Diego for
Yes.
giving us Iloski.
What a weird thing. After how many years has this franchise existed? After that many years of getting shafted by every MLS rule possible, and Gareth Bale, and a whiteboard in the training facility before they were like, "Oh, we should put blinds in this, shouldn't we?" And countless other things happening. For us to finally have the indifferent and uncaring MLS gods gift us Milan Iloski. Thank you, CF Montreal Impact, whatever you're called now. Please just fold as a franchise. For taking our 250,000 American dollars, which is about 500 Canadian, to not claim him, so we could do something with our lives and have Milan Iloski for no good reason. Yeah, is great. Good news is the MLS Next Pro Championship is kind of setting up to be Philadelphia Union 2 versus St. Louis City 2 without Roman Berkey or Josh Yara this time.
Yeah, I guess going back to the penalty shootout, I guess we're good at penalties right now. I mean, Blake saves one, gets his hands on another one, and almost keeps that one out. Waterman hits the crossbar, and somehow we put 4 other ones in the back of the net. I don't know.
I mean, should be. Like, I at least don't understand, because I don't really understand why teams can't shoot penalties.
Yeah.
Like, I get that they're hard to save, but like it's just repetition. And you're already like high-level athletes that should be good under pressure.
Isn't it great that we're also high-level athletes on this podcast?
We are.
Because we know from experience of taking hundreds of penalty kicks that it's so easy to do. No, yeah, I know, I agree with you though, Chuck. It's like, maybe you don't have to nestle it just under the crossbar every single time. I don't know.
But talking about penalty shootouts. Did you guys see the feature that NBC Sports did yesterday in the morning of the Premier League? That Tim Howard went to his daughter's University of Tennessee soccer practice, and he had the girls take penalty kicks against him, and he said he only saved 2 out of the entire team shooting against him.
I mean, that makes sense considering how much you had to study tendencies ahead of time, and couldn't do that.
Sure.
Right.
For sure.
Is Tim Howard he's like over 40 now, at least?
I mean,
Absolutely.
sure. I get what I'm just saying that you say how easy it is to shoot penalties. It really isn't all that. Nobody has book on Bueno shooting penalties. You have no idea what way that guy's going in a penalty shootout.
He did pass it into the corner of the net, which felt pretty bad if you're Chris Brady, I'm sure, because that dude didn't even hit it that hard.
And then he stared down Brady. I loved it.
Well, of course, he is Venezuelan, and we've only ever had 2 of those on our team, but they've both been absolute chaos merchants. So, wait, no, Carlos Valdez is Venezuelan, wasn't he? So 3, right?
I did love them getting in Brady's head in the penalty shootout. Like,
yeah,
just
what
the
was
simple
that
things
nonsense?
Well, Iloski handed the ball to Blake. Like, Blake should be taking the ball out to the penalty spot for
Yeah, yeah.
Chicago
And
free
Chris
kick.
Brady went,
And
no,
Brady
I
came
want to
over,
give it to
stole
my
the
guy.
ball, and was like, "No, give me the ball."
Yeah.
And then
So anyway,
Iloski
we're
just
gonna
shoved him
ride
in the
that
back.
into the next game and just really try to kick stuff up and win, so we don't have to play a third game.
It would also be nice to score an early goal in the next game.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So
that'd be
you
cool.
don't have to sit through a first half like that again. Because, like, in that one, if you score an early goal, like, they should just beat themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. And then just annoy them as much as possible so that they get another card of some sort. That's all it really is.
It's always fun when you advocate for time wasting when your team wins a game, you know?
I'm not saying time waste. I'm just saying.
No, I absolutely am. No,
You know.
I absolutely. No, I want Andre kicking his cleats off the goalpost every goal kick 5 times. No. If you get an early goal in this
you really
game,
have to clear.
yeah, I am absolutely a fan of you taking a year and a half to do anything. I don't care.
Yeah, I think it's not going to be too hard to get in their heads because we're already in them. You know, at the end of this game, Kai just needs to get up from a few more tackles, make a few more shoves. We'll be fine.
And that'll also be the fun thing about Gutierrez probably starting this next game, because it's really easy to get in his head.
Also, is it just me, or does it feel like Kai Wagner dislocates a finger before every playoff season starts?
Seriously.
Or is he just constantly dislocating his fingers and I don't clock it until the playoffs?
I think it's that.
Like, what?
It always seems like he has 2 to 3 fingers taped together.
And they're not, well, because it's like there's tape. And then it always feels like he wears some kind of weird brace on his
Yeah.
I suppose that's his left middle and index finger, and I'm just very confused.
Yeah. Yes.
Because good thing you play football and not handball, I guess, but
yeah, seriously.
That can't feel good. And when does it happen? I want them to go back and report every time that he's dislocated his fingers on the injury report, just so I know. Be like, he did it again.
All right, so the Union get out of Philly with a win in PKs, a 4-2 shootout win. We go next week to Chicago to play game 2 of this 3-game series, which is weird when we're a soccer podcast and I feel like we're talking about a baseball team.
But, yeah.
Thanks,
whatever.
MLS.
Thanks
MLS for that.
No one cares. There's not a single person who likes this, right?
No, because it takes all of the jeopardy out when you're just no one can actually get eliminated right now.
Yes.
Well, it puts all of the stress on the second game.
Yeah. Yep. That's what I was thinking
if we
about.
lose tonight, it's
tonight,
man, we really got to go and beat Chicago. And then what happens in the third game? We're home. We just win, right?
Yep. That's exactly what I was thinking the whole time during the shootout. I was like, please don't lose. Please don't lose.
Right.
I want to give one more props to the Philadelphia video team. Man, they create some cool stuff. And Our Philly, Our Fight video was chef's kiss. Love that video from top to bottom. Yes.
Right.
But that video was top notch. And I really appreciate the video team for putting really cool things together.
Here, Chuck, I also have a local shout out. Do you have anybody you wanna gas up internally in the Union sphere?
I was put on the spot too much.
I'm sorry. I didn't know if anyone came to mind. All right, cool. I will I'll cover for you. I believe on your national Apple TV broadcast it was Danny Higginbotham on the color, right?
Yes.
Formerly our guy. And then the great news about being the home team is that if you hit the little button that looks like a waveform, if people know what that is still, fingers crossed, at the bottom of your Apple TV, you can flip over to the home broadcast, and that features a friend of the show. He hasn't been on it, but we all know him, Dave Leno, and Sebastian Letou. And I thought they called a hell of a game. And one of the many reasons that I love Dave professionally, not just as a person, is he is so acutely aware and grateful for the people that make his productions run and will say it with a hot mic. And that's really cool. Shouting out the production team and all the people that make things work on that side of things. So if you can, because we're spoiled. We're one of the only markets that has the luxury of having a local radio broadcast. If you can, during this playoff run, and in general, by the way, just flip that over to the home radio broadcast so you can hear Seba is there at the very least. You can hear a Frenchman talk about soccer and say "we" a lot, which is one of those weird broadcast icks that I have, but that's neither here nor there. And Dave Leno, who's been with the team for like a decade now, which is crazy.
At least he is someone who has the right to say "we."
It's true, because it means yes for him.
Well, and
oh, you meant with because he played for us? Yeah. Sorry. Does he do that with the Vancouver broadcast?
We should get
how many teams? How many teams does he actually do that with?
Well, he's not allowed to call the Whitecaps Union final if it happens because there's just too many conflict of interest.
All right, gentlemen. Anything else before we get out of here?
No, I think if we're talking about deep cut Sebastian Latou transfers, we're good.
Yeah, because I mean, there's no point in previewing a game that just happened a week from now.
Gonna happen again.
It'll be more of the same, probably. We'll be in different kits
next Saturday night.
Well, just hopefully the Union don't come home for a game 3.
Yeah, I don't want to see the game 3 of this series.
Yeah, I'm okay with just 2 things.
All right, well, we'll talk to you again after, hopefully, there is not a game 3, and we win game 2 to end this best of 3 MLS playoff series. And move on to the conference semifinals.